Hey guys, if you're new to my channel, my name is Jessica and I am the owner and operator of Round Town Candle Co. I am a small hand-poured soy candle business operating out of Circleville, Ohio. So I'm glad that you're here today. I'm going to begin a series, I guess you could call it, where I'm going to start taking you through the steps of actually my candle making process. So the part I'm at now is going to be restocking. So I have an inventory software that I use, so I get on there periodically, or it'll let me know when my stock is getting low. So my stock is getting low on some of my candles. So I get on there and I look to see where everything's at and what I need to do. So today I need to restock on 3 of my candles. My mulled cider, the 4-ounce jars, and then on the 8-ounce jars I need to pour the sugar cookie and pumpkin pecan waffles. So when I do the 4-ounce jars, I pour those in batches of 15, and so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through the process of how I get those candles made. So I think I told you guys my jars, I changed suppliers on my 4-ounce jar because I just did not feel like the quality was consistent with my previous supplier. So I have changed, and these are by far much more consistent. I have bought literally hundreds of these and have not had any broken, so knock on wood. All right, so I'm gonna start with my 15 jars, and not all candle makers do this. There's no like rules, you don't have to, but I'm still here. Getting that box out of my way. I always start my jars by cleaning them, because I don't know, like if I buy glasses, drinking glasses at a store, I'm not just gonna take them out of the package and drink out of them. So I don't really want to take these jars out and just put candles in them. You know, even if there's just a small amount of dust or whatever from the packaging process and all that, I want these jars to be clean. So my handy little bottle of rubbing alcohol, and you might be thinking, well, rubbing alcohol, that's like flammable, right? Well, I'm not leaving it in there. So I just put a little spray in there, and then I just wipe out the insides of the jars and then the bottom where the sticker is gonna go. And it dries really fast anyways, but there's enough steps from the time I clean these jars to the time I'm ready to go with them that there's not any alcohol in them. So I'm just gonna work on cleaning these jars. All right, so now that the jars have been wiped out, I know there's no dust or dirt or anything in them. I flip them upside down, and then the next step I do is I'm gonna put my warning labels on them. Once I'm done with that, I flip them back around and then get ready to put the wicks in them. So here we go. All right, so now that the warning labels are on them, which again, that is a requirement, it's time to put the wicks in. So I've got the jars back in the correct spot. So I have my wick stickers and my wicks, and wick testing is the most daunting task of candle making, because it sucks. It takes forever. You have to test wicks for each scent on each size of jar, because they behave differently. So anyways, once you get them, it's golden. All right, so you take the wick and you just peel the top of the sticker off and you put it on like that, and then you peel the bottom, and now you have your little sticky. If you watch my candle studio tour, you know that I love this tool. It is the best, and I'll show you why. So you just put the wick on there, it's got a magnetic end, and then you're gonna take your jar, and it just sits in there. And where it's got these little rivets, like different size jars, it just does. So you put it in there, and then you just push the plunger down, and then you pull it up, and your wick is perfectly centered. Yeah, it's dreamy. So anyways, I'm gonna finish centering these wicks, and then I'll be right back with you. All right, so now all of the jars are stickered and wicked. And so I always clean everything up as I'm going along. I do not like a lot of mess. So all those materials are put away. Now look at this. You can see that this wick is just like doing its own thing. So when you pour the wax in there, obviously you need the wick to be straight, so that when the wax hardens, the wick is not only centered but straight. Kind of defeats the purpose of centering it if you're just going to have it like all over the place. So there are a ton of wick centering options available, some really cool gadgets and stuff. I've tried a few different ones, but my all-time favorite that works best for me is just a clothespin. And so I'll take the wick and stick it through the little center hole of the clothespin. Then it'll come out the top like so. And then I pull tight and open the clothespin and then pinch it right in there. So you can see the wick is straight up and then it's out of my way. So it just goes through that little silver hole. Then you pinch it to open it up and you pull this tight and then you just shut it through there. So now when the wax goes in, it's going to go in and the wick is not going to move. I don't have to worry about it. You know, I pour the wax and I think it's straight and then I turn around and it's like somewhere else. So so that's the final step in prepping the jars. So I'm going to finish with getting these wicks all straightened up with these clothespins. Alright guys, so now that we have the jars ready, I'm going to show you how I get the wax ready for pouring. So for this part, I wear this because it's cute and it makes me feel legit, but actually just because it keeps the wax and stuff off my clothes. So all of the above. Alright, let me tie this up. So the wax, I've had my melter, I turned my melter on early this morning, so the wax is already up to temperature. I have little recipe cards up here on my board, so that I know for the quantity I'm making, I know how many pounds and ounces of wax and how much fragrance oil and all that stuff. So I will show you that. So the first thing is I'm gonna put my gloves on because I'm gonna take my wedding ring off, because gloves will definitely save your hands from the fragrance and wax and everything else. So all right, I have a cute little dish where I put my wedding ring when I'm pouring candles. So we'll put these gloves on and then I will show you the process of making the candles. All right, so we're registering at about 190 degrees right now, so I'm gonna turn on my scale, and this is just a regular kitchen scale, and I'm gonna put my pitcher on there and then I'm gonna tare it, zero it out. So for this batch that I'm pouring, I need 2 pounds and 8 ounces of wax. So I just open the spout. Obviously when I get to a certain point, I usually will tone it down a little bit because it does splatter, and it's 192 degrees right now, so that's uncomfortable. So 2 pounds, 8 ounces. On the dot. Exactly. Okay. So 2 pounds, 8 ounces. So I have these little quirky kitchen things I got from IKEA as well. So I set my pitcher on there and then I put my thermometer in. And we will see where our temperature is at. So while that is registering the temperature, I'm going to pour my fragrance oil. So this is zeroed out with my little cup on there. So I need 3.56 ounces of fragrance oil. All right. So my fragrance oil is poured. So I can take that off and set it to the side. Set that to the side. So my wax right now is about 194 degrees or so. So I'm just gonna let that come down in temperature a little bit because it's a little bit too hot for me to add my fragrance oil to right now. So I typically add my fragrance oil when it's about 185 degrees Fahrenheit. So we are going to let that come down in temperature just a little bit. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I'm looking at my thermometer and it looks like we are right on target, 185. I always get a couple paper towels. Like, paper towels are a candle maker's best friend. Put one in my pocket there, and then I need one here. So the next step, I'll move this back here so you guys can see this. All right, so we're at 185 degrees. So I take my thermometer out, and this is the point in which I'm gonna add my wax or my fragrance oil to the wax. So this is for my mold cider candle. Oh, this is like not a lot of fragrance oil. I mean, you can see. All right, I apologize. It literally looks like a urine sample, but anyways, it's not that much, but the aroma, I wish you guys could smell it. It is so good. All right, so when I do this, you just want to pour it in slowly. And I typically will just sort of, you know, kind of try to mix it in a little bit as I'm pouring. And then I just use my spoon to get as many drops as I can. These little silicone pouring cups are awesome. I love them. So then you got to stir this fragrance oil in. But you want to do it like really gently. You don't want to just, it's not good. You got to treat it like the amazing and delicate ingredients that they are. So I just stir this slowly, kind of like at the surface, and then I drop my spoon down a little bit, and then I'll drop my spoon down a little bit more, and then a little bit more till I'm down to the bottom. You can kind of hear that. And I just repeat that process over and over. Again, just slow and gentle. But for me, I try to stir for usually close to 2 minutes, just to allow that fragrance oil to really bind with the wax. And then once that happens, then I put my thermometer back in, and then I just chill out for a while until the temperature comes down. Now for the soy wax, I find that about 160 degrees is a good pouring temperature. So once I get down to 160 degrees, I will then be back with you guys and show you what's next. So not too many steps left. So let me just finish stirring this and then let it sit till it gets to its cool down temperature, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, hey guys, so I'm almost 160 degrees on my wax. So once I get to that point, I take my thermometer out, and I will go in with my spoon again, and I will just give it a nice easy stir just to kind of make sure everything's reincorporated before I pour. But before that, I'm actually going to do one other step. I don't know that like this isn't necessary, it's just my preference. But I take a heat gun and I go through and I just go over top of the jars just to put a little heat on them. Again, I don't think it's something you have to do. You can certainly pour candles without doing it. I just choose to do it because to me it makes sense. You don't take a steak out of the refrigerator when it's like cold and then throw it on a blazing hot grill. Like, I mean, well, maybe you do, but you shouldn't. I don't know. I used to watch a lot of Food Network. So what happens when you do that is the steak is super cold, the grill is super hot, you put the steak on there, and the meat like seizes up. So It's kind of the same idea for me with this. I've got 160-degree wax. I have cold jars. So if I take the hot wax and put it in these jars, it's like a dramatic shift in temperature. So by heating the jars up a little bit, I think it provides for a better transition once I pour that wax in there. So anyways, I will do that now, give my wax a final stir, and we'll get to pouring. So let's check it out. All right guys, so the jars are heated. The wax is stirred one final time, and I have my little pancake batter dispenser, which I have found to be the easiest way, because when you're trying to do this over top of these candles, it's not exactly easy. So I will just pour part of my wax in here. And when I heat these jars up, I mean, they're not hot. I just basically have taken like the chill off of them because, you know, they're on a stainless steel table for one thing. All right, I always put it over there to try it out first to make sure. So now we're just gonna go through and fill these candles up. All right guys, so there you have it. That is the start to finish process of pouring the 4-ounce jar candles. Once I'm done, I go through and I clean out all my equipment using the rubbing alcohol and of course paper towels. And then I just basically try to be super careful. I'm walking around so that these can start to set up and dry. And so I will leave them here as they are. And depending on the time of the day when I pour, kind of just depends upon when I do the next step. But what I'll do is once they are dry, I will go through and trim the wicks, you know, take the clothespins off and trim the wicks and everything, and then I'll lid and label. So I will probably come back at some point and show you that process, but that won't be until later this evening or maybe tomorrow. So either way, but I hope you guys thought this was cool, just to kind of see how these candles are made. I really am just one small business, really am hand pouring these candles. So when I tell you that they're made with love, they really are. I try to be careful and consistent, and I definitely put my heart into this. So anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed coming along with me today to make some candles, and trust me, there will be more videos to come as we go through different processes, wax melts and things like that. So anyways, hope you guys have a great day. We'll catch you later. Bye. Hey guys, one last thing before I go. So I told you I took my wedding ring off to pour candles. I always do that. And I was telling you I had this cute little tray that I set it on. So my sister got this for me as a gift. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? It's a little obsidian, it's heavy, this little cat dish. She got for me at Moonstone Circle in downtown Circleville, Ohio. So if you guys have not been into Moonstone, you should check them out. They got some really cool stuff in there. But this is so special because I am a cat lover and we have cats. And my sister is definitely my best friend in the world. So this is super special, and I wanted to make sure that it was somewhere that I would like see it and use it a lot. So I thought it was perfect. I set it on the corner of my table, and then every time that I go to do candles, take my ring off and I put it in there. So just a little shout out to Moonstone Circle. If you guys haven't been down there, they have some really cool and unique gifts. So you should check them out. All right, talk to you guys later.